just to know what you knew. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the night. Let the darkness take control. Let the darkness take control. Darkness take control. May the darkness take control. Take me in the smoke, breathe me in and let me go. Sink to your heart to find you. Open up your eyes till you're blinded by the lies, so you can see what you do. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the night. Teardrops on the floor. The pain is over. Feel the darkness take control. Darkness take control.
Welcome to AfterTalk, where wrestling goes beyond the mat. Here's your host, the Glamazon Delisha.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to AfterTalk, your extended show, sister show to AfterMat, where we go a little bit more into detail into our favorite topic, which is wrestling. And this is the final one of the year that was called 2020, so we're gonna have a little bit of fun with it, and hopefully we can go out with a bang, so that you guys can have something positive to go out on. But I can't do it alone, so I'm here with the two best co-hosts in the world, Tricky Nikki and Cal, the Kingslayer, voice of the voiceless. How are you guys?
Different show, yes. Although
I'm good.
Good.
I'm excited for 2020 to roll out, but 67 months later, here we are.
I actually, sorry, I was to say I actually saw a funny meme that's like when when 2020 is ending, the last 24 hours, it should be like the Ramones lyric, 2020, 24 hours to go, and like that'd be a funny thing,
True.
the way to end it.
Yeah, so we have kind of a different type of show today, to where I'm pretty sure our audience is very familiar with video games, and almost all of them have, or the ones I've played since I was a kid up until now, have always had the feature of create your own wrestler. And we're not playing video games today because I am probably the lone one here who doesn't have a system capable of helping us do that all together. But we're going to create a wrestler anyway in the after talk format of just talking about it and discussing, maybe arguing, I don't know, about our favorite attributes of wrestlers to make the one ideal wrestler to us. So we'll make a disclaimer, these are our personal choices for what the ideal wrestler would be after the conglomeration of choosing the attributes. And you may have something different, you may think of something different, so let us know in the comments what your ideal wrestler would be, some of the attributes as we go through them. But, when you're creating a wrestler, you gotta have some guidelines. So we decided to come up with some as a group, and we're gonna pick an attribute from each of these guidelines, and then at the end, you'll see it come all together of who or what our ideal wrestler would be. And it's actually pretty fun trying to think about what, if you think about all the wrestlers that have ever lived or have ever been on our television screens or in person as you've seen them, there's a lot. And some of them have attributes that are great, some of them not so much. So Kyle, what was kind of your process in trying to think of, certain wrestlers that came to mind? Like, what did you have a process in picking your, I guess, peoples, so to speak? We'll get to that in a second.
Before I get to that, I'd say hi to Will in the chat, as well as Norsham over on Twitch. Thank you guys for joining us. And I also know, Will is saying he's an expert in this because Will does make a lot of creator wrestlers. If you know him well, go to his channel. You'll see that he makes all of us, actually. He makes all the streamers on his games throughout the years. Like starting from 2K19 or 17 maybe. He started making all the streamers. And then he has like battle royals with all of us. And if one of us wins, like we get a gift card to like Amazon or something like that. It's really cool. So make sure you go check that out. But yeah, like back when we talked about this idea, I was like, we talked about like our dream card, right? Why not do a dream wrestler? So I was thinking like, what aspects would I take from certain people? Like, because you guys obviously know I have a lot of my favorites that I always like emulate or talk about a lot, and so I was like, what if I just take one thing from them? And because I could just say like we said like we had the superstar bracket. I think The Rock ended up winning the whole thing, but he kind of embodies like everything. From what our criteria, if you look at it. But if we just take one thing from each person, or maybe more than one thing, it's kind of interesting what we'd pick and see what our ideal wrestler would be. So that's how I went into it, kind of thing.
Nikki, what was kind of your process in going through all of this?
I thought it was a great idea when you guys were like, hey, why don't we do like, end of the year, let's do a, amalgamated version of a wrestler. And I thought that was really cool. And I liked the criteria that we came up with. I think that, it fits everything that somebody would want in a wrestler. And it was really awesome to see, all of us come up with different stuff. Except me, I have one from each of your lists. But, like, yeah, I thought this was going to be really exciting. And I did have somebody ask. They were like, are you guys going to, like, make your wrestlers in the game and then, like, put them against each other? And I was like, no. But, I mean, maybe we could do that. Is
that even possible? We cut off bodies and stuff. Like, I don't think we can even do that. I guess.
Right. It'd be great, right?
I was asking Will, like, can you ever have like guys fight girls in the game? And they don't really have that, I don't think yet. But even though Beth Phoenix and China and all them kind of set the bar early, and then like with Karma and Nia Jax later on, they still don't have it in the video games yet. Like, so that kind of sucks. Or they used to have it, and they took it away, and now they don't have it again.
Which is weird, because it's just like a video game, so it's not like seeing actual, the men and women.
But I guess, like, they don't want to, like, have kids be influenced, because kids are the ones that usually play those video games and stuff, so...
They don't want to get kids' hopes up that girls can be wrestlers, too.
Against guys, though. That's what they mean.
Disclosure, I hope my mom's not watching. That didn't stop us growing up, but I digress.
You don't say.
So we mentioned a list, and if you can see it there on the screen, we have what we call our wrestler criteria that we chose from to create our wrestler, and those criteria were as such as body type, meaning what was the actual look of your wrestler that you were going for, and then we translated that to athleticism, as in how did they, present themselves in the ring, like how athletic were they? Were they more like mat people, or not high flying, but involved in the ring, or you'll understand. And then after that we went to wrestling ability, meaning what was the wrestling ability? I think that one's pretty straightforward. As well as mic skills, like how they are on the mic, how do they draw in the crowd to get the reaction that they want, whether it's cheers or boos. And then we have passion, meaning passion for the business itself. With a lot of the social media that we have now, we get a little more transparency into how much the wrestlers actually even love the business that they're in. And then after that, we also have work ethic, as in like the time put in the ring, not actual time, but like the time learning their craft and wanting to be the best that they could be in this business. Like, what kind of work ethic would we have chosen from someone to make for our ideal character? And then we also have wrestling style. Are they a grappler? Are they a high flyer? Are they more of a on the mat submission person? Are they more of your like big boy bruiser who just gets the job done by punch you in the face? And also, you can't have a wrestler without entrance music. So we try to describe what our person's music would like by picking a similar type from another wrestler. We can't play it because we would like this video to stay up and not get struck down because of YouTube copyright laws. So we'll just like try to explain like what type of feel we were going for. And also, last but not least, is your ideal person to face? Are they a heel? Or maybe we'll talk about how they could be ideal in both. So those were the criteria we chose to make our wrestler. So why don't we get into this, shall we? And so, like I said, we were going first for body type, and I am going first. And I chose the body type of Ember Moon. For the reason being, she's not like your everyday, like skinny or super bulky, I guess, woman. I guess she doesn't have the toned abs or the quote unquote like bikini body supermodel everyday look. She kind of, in a way, kind of looks like almost an everyday woman, but who's doing extraordinary things. So I kind of was going for that feel to where I feel like my ideal wrestler could still look like someone in the crowd, but still be someone you can aspire to be in the ring. What do you guys think?
I mean, I was excited when I saw Ember Moon was your body pick, duh. Because I love Ember Moon. I'm such a fangirl. Yeah, and I mean, like, and you're totally right. Like, looking at her, she isn't, she isn't Nia Jax. She isn't massive. But at the same time, she's not Charlotte Flair. It's like she has, like, just the perfect combination of, like, musculature with, like, feminism. Femininity. Femininity? That's the word. My brain doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, I think Delisha hit it right on the head when she said she's like the everyday woman, like not your stereotypical like diva search model winner kind of thing. You know what I mean? So she's very something that like an ideal to look up to. That she's not the perfect what society thinks is perfect body. But yeah, I mean I know you guys are huge fans of her. I suppose actually I don't want to ruin anyone's pick later on, but yeah she's starting to impress me more. Just like I wasn't really into her, but I do love her finisher and stuff like that. But she is starting to impress me more. I think when she got showcased more recently in one of the events, I forgot what it was, maybe Money in the Bank or something. And then also I think Bianca Belair, also another person who's been getting a lot of accolade lately too. Because like I wasn't on her bandwagon either, but like when I saw her in Survivor Series, I think she impressed me as well. So there's a few people that I haven't. I started to grow on me. Will Daniel Bryan ever grow on me? Probably not.
The world might never know.
No, we know. I do like him in the Bella show though, because that's like his real person kind of thing. I just don't like him as a wrestler.
All right, Nikki, I think you're up next.
Can you guys hear me? There we go.
Yeah.
My little green light wasn't coming on. I was like, uh-oh. Yes, it's B. Okay, so for my body type, I picked Shayna Baszler. And that's because when I went into this, I was like, well, what kind of, wrestler would I really like? Like, if I could just, create one, I would want them to be kind of like a brawler, where they're definitely intimidating looking, but not where they're just like a massive powerhouse, And I felt like Shayna Baszler really like hit that mark for me as far as body type, because she, obviously is, an ex-MMA fighter. I don't know if she's still doing that, but, I mean, it's one of those things where I like that she's muscular and she looks intimidating. Like, her body makes me go, whoa, okay, I don't want any part of that, thank you. So I was going for that kind of pick because all of these picks are going to, like, bleed into each other into, like, like, for me, all of my picks make the wrestler that I'm like, yeah, this is who I would be if I got to be a wrestler, if I could go back in time and be like, this is my persona, this is what I want to do. That's how I picked it. So yeah, Shayna Baszler.
If I
Oh no, go ahead.
I was like, no, this is stupid. I was thinking, if this is the person, if we'd go back and enter their bodies, I would have chosen like Alexa Bliss or something. But that's for completely opposite reasons, nothing to do with wrestling. So, go.
Right.
No, I think that's a really good pick. Like you said, like when you're looking at her, you're like, oh, she's definitely someone I don't want to get into a fight with, because and that's even before she even snarls at you. If we're going with like that particular physique looking at you, but yeah, especially since we know what she actually capable of, it kind of makes her double intimidating, because you're like, oh man, knock you out.
Yeah, I was going hard on my intimidation factor, so I was like, Shayna Baszler.
Just her demeanor and her facial expressions too sell it as well.
Yeah.
For it.
Yep.
All right, Cal.
Hey, Cal, go ahead.
Okay, for me, I chose a Bobby Lashley without the headband. Thank you for not having any headband pictures in there. I appreciate it. I mean, if you look at him, he's just like cut from granite, right? That's what they say, chiseled from granite. Like, look at his body; it's just perfection. Like he's like one of the
He
big.
looks like a Greek god.
Exactly, he's one of those big dudes that like Vince McMahon loves. But it's just like he's just like you can see his muscles. You know, like there's dudes that like they had like flex sometimes, like people have actually body shamed Chris Jericho lately when he's been AEW for saying he put on weight. But if he actually flexes, you can still see he has like a 4-pack or a 6-pack, you know. But Bobby Lashley's just standing there, like you can see he's just like crazy muscles everywhere, popping out of every like possible muscles where on top of muscles where there can't be muscles, but there are. You know, he's just like kind of like crazy, like amazing body, and he's not like gigantic either, like Braun Strowman size or anything like that. So if I had to choose a wrestler's body, like it would probably be Bobby Lashley. If I had to go smaller, it'd probably be someone like Ricochet or Finn Balor, something like that. But I think Bobby Lashley's ideal because he's just big, so I feel like I could throw people around and just be intimidating myself.
Yeah, this is all about ideally. So of course you gotta go with like the most intimidating actor. Like again, much like if I was looking at someone of Shayna Baszler's stature, if you were looking at someone like a Bobby Lashley's stature, you're like, yeah, not the dude I'm gonna try to fight with in a bar or outside or in a dark alley or in the ring or anywhere in where his eyes are on mine. I'm not going for it. And like you said, this dude has muscles upon muscles where you didn't think muscles even grew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I might have gone down the rabbit hole and looked for the perfect pictures because I just like looking at him.
I was actually gonna choose Chris Masters, if you guys remember him, the Masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought Lashley's more big and bulging. That I thought he'd sell it better than Chris Masters.
He was the guy who broke the mask lock, so that way he's also now top tier.
See,
he's
there
also
you go.
now taking that move onto his own. So there you go. you picked the Chris Masters 2.0.
But as soon as that headband goes on, it's like one of those debilitating accessories in video games where they lose like 400 HP and stuff like that. It's like that. So if that headband comes on, then all of it goes away, just deflates. Everything deflates.
The intimidation factor goes, woo!
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I don't think can you be intimidated by a guy? Well, I guess it's still like Lashley's
A
size.
guy in a headband.
So,
It's like how glasses are intimidating. Hold my glasses. Like, I'm gonna kick your ass.
In other sports, in other sports, maybe like in basketball if they have a headband, you know, but not like this.
Yeah, not when it comes to something like hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
And I did see Will's response in the chat. Well, he picked a like Ricochet Jeff Hardy type. So I guess in a way they're kind of slightly similar. I guess with Jeff being just a little bit taller, maybe.
And Ricochet being ripped and Jeff Hardy not.
Yes, that's true. So.
Oh, Ricochet again.
He wants a ripped Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
Is what he's actually saying. And I think that was our only fan chat. I mean, as far as body type goes.
If I could mix and match, I would have chose Big Show with like Finn Balor abs. Like if I could have mixed and matched, you know, like actually the crazy thing is when Big Show got in shape, he has abs. Like he had a 4-pack. So when he lost all that weight, so he's actually like in the not recently, but like right before that, he was in the best shape of his life. Which when I saw, he was really actually, you know, 4-pack and everything, which is kind of crazy. But
yeah, I'm always impressed. I'm always impressed by wrestlers' bodies. I'm just like, wow.
Right. Speaking
I
of,
mean, like I said, Arnold Schwarzenegger's not up in my garage. You know who is? The Rock. And he's
The Rock.
like,
Yeah, see?
because that's who motivates me to get out there, be the hardest worker in the room. Anyways, sorry, I'll stop.
no, it's fine. It's fine. Because you definitely have to. And someone who definitely is like the hardest working in the room when it comes to athleticism is definitely why I picked this part as my ideal choice for athleticism is the athleticism of Bianca Belair. Talk about being able to do things that normal people are not able to do, as far as lift people over your head. I guess it's called military press. Array of people that she's been able to lift over her head, not just the small. I think that's Candace that we see in the picture, and she is the EST for a reason, because she really can seemingly do it all. She can be the ground and pound person on the ring side. She can also be the high flyer if you need to be, and she could probably be a submission specialist if she chose to be that as well. I'm surprised she hasn't used her hair as an actual submission tool, at least on live television I've seen, maybe in some dark matches. But you can't really go wrong with Bianca Belair. And she was just the first person that I thought of when I was trying to think of my ideal athleticism body type. It probably didn't help that I was watching Raw when this happened, so she was already fresh in my mind. But you gotta go. The girl got moves, and if I'm going to create a wrestler, I want someone who can perceivably almost do it all, if need to be.
I didn't realize she was a CrossFitter. Like, until I was going through her pictures, and I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, like, why she is so athletic in the ring. Because she came from an athletic background, so... Not that I'm saying other wrestlers don't come from an athletic background, but, like, she wasn't trained to be a wrestler. She was training to, like, go to the Olympics and stuff like that, and it's just a different type of training. So I thought that was really neat, which is why I put a picture of her doing an Olympic-style lift, because I was like, yeah, we're gonna do that.
Hashtag beast mode indeed.
Yeah, for sure. I guess that means it's my turn.
Oh, I just had something to say about
ironically,
Bianca Belair.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That she's really impressed me much with her athleticism. Like, because I really don't watch IC that much, except for like sometimes the takeovers and stuff. But when I saw her at Survivor Series, that's when I really first showcased her, and I thought she was really, really, really impressive. And I just think the one drawback, like you at least actually said, was her hair. To use as a weapon, I think that could be used against her, and that's what I think is her biggest drawback. Is like in a combat sport, you never want to have your hair out like that. Considering wrestling to be a combat sport, it'll be used against you, so it should never be out like that. Before you go to Nicole, you want to refresh your call because I think we lost your video.
Oh, okay, hold on.
Delisha, can you see her or no?
I can't.
I can't see me.
Oh.
Refresh.
There she is.
How
Okay.
about?
Okay.
Cool.
So
Okay. Sorry about that. What were we talking about? We're talking about athleticism.
Yes,
That's
your
note
pick.
that we are on.
Yeah.
Okay, my pick. So my pick for athleticism is actually Ember Moon, and a big part of that was because, well, I wanted to put Ember Moon on my list, and I do feel like she's fairly athletic. I mean, she can get up on, the rope and launch herself off, and, Eclipse is awesome to watch. And so it's like, with her finisher being something that I feel is an athletic move, I thought that it felt right to put her in here as my athletic pick, just because, she's a strong woman. And I know that feels a little contradictory because I picked Shayna Baszler, but I pick her as a body type because she looks intimidating. But, like, Ember Moon's athleticism is, in my opinion, better than Shayna Baszler's. So that's why I was like, I'm going to go Ember Moon on the athleticism. And, yeah, I love her.
Yeah, I know.
You pick her because she's from Texas.
Well, listen, I love her because she is from Texas, but that's only because I got to chat with her at NXT TakeOver before the Rumble, so I'm more of a Ember Moon fan as in, like, out of the ring, and that's why I was such a fangirl when she started to get popular, is because she's super nice. And I was like, awesome.
Yeah, I can see that. And like, yeah, she when I saw her on the I forgot what that show was called after they had with like Renee Young and then Booker T and all that. That was short lived, and CM Punk was on it for a little bit too. Whatever that show was, what was it called?
I don't remember.
Whatever that show was called, she was on it too, and she seemed very sweet and stuff like that. But yeah, like I was impressed with her athleticism when I saw her. I guess was the Money in the Bank or whatever it was, and she, like I said, like she has a cool finisher that's been. I remember it was put up twice or something, and I think maybe Nikki actually nominated it for best finisher 2 years in a row. I think it is, and it's got a lot of votes. Just never wins at the end.
Good.
And what Will says, Jeff Hardy for athleticism, which I figured he'd probably do. That's like that's his boy, Jeff Hardy.
That's why me and Will get along.
You like the only two people who like the Hardys in the world.
Yeah, I think so.
I think the crowd begs to differ.
No, that's piped in audio. It's just you and Will cheering, and they just pipe it in over
Absolutely.
over everything.
That's great. All right, Cal, what was your pick?
For me, I picked John Morrison. So now this was actually a tough pick because it was either between him and Ricochet, the aforementioned Ricochet. But then I'm like, you know what? John Morrison does parkour, and whoever does parkour is awesome. Especially when they say when they say parkour as they're doing it, that adds like points to it, just like a headband detracts points for Bobby Lashley. If you say parkour while doing parkour, it adds athletic points and mobility points to yourself. Another thing is like between him and Ricochet. Ricochet, okay, does awesome cool flips and does like 782 flips before he lands into the ring kind of thing. That's cool, but John Morrison's almost 10 years older than Ricochet and still doing cool things like that. And like his physique is amazing as well. That's why I had to go with Morrison because the longevity that he's still doing it at. You know, that's what I feel like why I had to choose him. We lost Nicole again, so she might have to refresh again. Sorry, Nicole. And welcome, Entertained. How are you doing? Yeah, so that's... Oh, there she's back. That's why I chose him, because he's just the longevity that he's been doing it for, and he's just fun to watch. Like, stuff he does, and it's his personality. I feel like he shines his personality through his moves. And that's really good for athleticism for him. That's why I like it.
I think that he's a really good choice as well. Because, again, this man can do things that you didn't think were possible when it comes to all the flips and turns he can do. And like you said, when you were saying it was between him and Ricochet, I was like, that's like the flip of a coin. I was like, which one do you go with? And I guess, like you said, the one who can do the parkour gets the slight edge out. And I really enjoy the type of movesets that he has. It's not passive; he can still do all those things. So I think it was really. I thought you were going a different direction, and then you surprised me with John Morrison, which I'm actually really glad to see.
Another reason why it might be because I've been watching Miz and Mrs. and he's on it a lot. And him and Morrison Miz went to a parkour thing, and he was doing all this cool stuff. And Miz was trying to keep up and couldn't keep up. It was really funny. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I really thought I would probably choose someone like Ricochet, but or Kofi, you know, because I love those guys. But Morrison's just amazing, and like I said, at his age, still doing this stuff. I'm not saying he's old, but I mean for like a wrestler who does high flying moves like that compared to Ricochet, 10 years older almost, that's impressive.
For sure. Moving right along, wrestling ability.
Yes. So I chose Mr. Johnny Wrestling himself, Johnny Gargano, because it kind of goes on with what I was saying a little bit earlier about a person who can do a little bit of everything in the ring. So that's what I chose their wrestling ability to be. Because if you guys are familiar with NXT, that is where Johnny Gargano resides. He can be the high flyer. He can be the wrestling submission machine in the ring if he has to. He can be the grappler that's doing mat-to-mat moves if need be. And he's really exciting to watch in the ring because he's just such, like... He's kind of like almost old school, like Saturday Night Grappler style, but also bringing in the new school with the high-flying, quick intensity. So I like that he could also go... that wrestling type could also go toe-to-toe with any other wrestler that they get put in front of. So that was my reasoning behind picking Mr. Johnny Gargano.
Nice. I don't know too much about him, so unfortunately I can't chime in. Yeah. Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, that's why he's called Johnny Wrestling. He's got amazing wrestling ability. We see it. Like I said, I watched NXT a lot, but I do watch the takeovers, and we've been to a few where Johnny Gargano has main evented, and one of the best matches we thought we saw that year was Andrade versus Johnny Gargano for the NXT Championship. And then later on that year, he ended up having 3 more great matches. I think it was that year or maybe a year later. He had 3 more great matches against Tommaso Ciampa that he could have considered for match of the year as well. So, like, he's just... I don't know if we'll ever see him in WWE because he's like that NXT guy. It'll be a shame if his talent is wasted in NXT. But then also, we can say the same thing on the flip side. If he goes to WWE and his talent is wasted there, right now he's thriving in NXT, and I love seeing him there. He might be wasted. And like, look what happened to Keith Lee. Keith Lee was amazing in NXT. Went into WWE, didn't really have much of a good run, and now they're sending him back to developmental. That sucks, right? And like, Keith Lee was amazing in NXT, so I don't want to see the same thing happen to Johnny Gargano, especially because of his ability.
Yeah. I guess we can move on to our next pick, who is Nikki. Who was your wrestling ability?
So, for wrestling ability, I actually chose the phenomenal one, AJ Styles.
Oh, you didn't put the gloves on? I thought you had the gloves on.
No, I wish I did have the gloves. I have his vest, and I can't find the gloves. I don't know if I lost them in my move or what, but I couldn't find them. I was like, no! Anyways, I mean, come on now. I don't even have to explain why I picked AJ Styles for wrestling ability, because he's freaking awesome. Like, put him in the ring with anybody, and he will make whoever's in the ring with him a better wrestler. That's that.
And Nicole doesn't have to explain it because I will explain it to you because I've chosen the same person, AJ Styles. AJ Styles is probably the greatest wrestler I've ever seen. He's done it everywhere. We don't like TNA. He's done it in New Japan. He's done it pretty much everywhere and obviously WWE. Without skipping a beat. Like, as he's getting older, I feel like it's just getting better and better. And like Nicole said, he could get in the ring with anybody and still make them look good. Look, he even made Undertaker look good, that it looked like a pre-televised match, even though Boneyard match was completely live. Everything happened. He got buried and everything. So he was so good that he made it look pre-taped. But yeah, AJ Styles is probably the greatest wrestler I've ever seen in person. Maybe Johnny Gargano's up there as well, but I feel like the difference is, I think Johnny Gargano, what we always say about NXT is that they have great wrestlers, right? In NXT, they've always been like superior in wrestling, whereas WWE is like more of entertainment, right? So I feel like Johnny Gargano's worked with amazing wrestlers throughout. AJ Styles has been put in the ring with people who haven't been that great, but he can still make the match look good because he's that phenomenal. That's why I would give to AJ Styles, because his ability. He's got someone like Bret Hart back in the day. He's like that Bret Hart from back in the day, where like he's been put. The one match that they talk about, the Lost Tape, where Bret Hart was put into a match with this guy who was terrible, but Vince McMahon wanted to push him because big guy, he's got that look, and he was just an awful wrestler. Bret Hart made the match look really good because of Bret Hart's ability, and that's what I think now someone like AJ Styles can make anyone look good in the ring with him.
Absolutely. He makes whoever's in the ring with him rise to the occasion to be in the ring with him, and that's what makes him so great.
Now all I want is to see Gargano versus AJ Styles right now. But I think you guys picked like a really good ability in AJ Styles. Like you said, he makes you rise to his level. Like, even though I remember, I think it was either last year or 2018, like the bajillion matches between him and Samoa Joe and him and Shinsuke. I mean, not to say that those two aren't good wrestlers, they are. But even after like the 15,000 match, we were still kind of excited because he was still doing like amazing things. And it's really a very good asset to have someone like him in the WWE, because he has that veteran experience of just being in the business for a long time, and he also has that worldwide experience of just fine-tuning his wrestling ability from being traveling all around the world in different promotions to perfect his craft. honestly, 10 out of 10 in my book on that AJ Styles pick. It was a phenomenal pick.
Okay. Before we go on, Skye says Shinsuke as well, which I do agree with. He has good wrestling. I think his strong style is more of his suit, but not like wrestling as in like grappling and stuff like that. Like another thing I want to say about AJ is that there have been better wrestlers. Like I mean, technical wrestlers. Yeah, like Arrington said, AJ Styles mat work. Yeah, because like people like Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar who are real life wrestlers. Like like collegiate wrestlers, Greco-Roman wrestlers. They have the wrestling ability. They have wrestling. They have wrestling, but they don't have wrestling ability. It's kind of like different. You know what I mean? Like the wrestling entertainment part of it. Like you could be the best Greco-Roman wrestler, but you might not be able to convey it into the squared circle, the ring. That's why we say wrestling ability, because people like AJ Styles, who might not be the greatest Greco-Roman wrestlers, but they have that ability to showcase the entertainment aspect through wrestling, technical wrestling. And that's why I think AJ Styles is top notch.
I concur.
Word of top notch, and you took it out of my head instead of yourself. But let's move into our next criteria, which was mic skills. And this one might have been the hardest one to pick because there's a good amount of wrestlers who have the ability to really like draw you in on the crowd. Like we could have picked The Rock, could have picked Chris Jericho, could have picked Trish Stratus in her heel form. But I chose to go with a more recent person to the I guess the big brand shows, which is Zelina Vega herself, and I chose her because she can be on the mic. Well, we haven't really seen her in I'm about to say as a face or heel, even though we haven't seen her in a true face form, at least on the WWE brand markets. But she just has those slicers where she just like looks directly at you, whether it's through a camera or directly in your face, and like you know exactly what it is that's going on, whether she's speaking for someone else or speaking for herself. She can really get the point across and still give you those zingers, whether it's gonna slice you up verbally or she's gonna actually get it done in the ring. And I thought that she was a really good asset to the character I was trying to perform in my head of what the overall idea would be. And I thought like her Pacific mic skills would be the best asset to my person.
Yeah, I liked your pick. I've seen clips of her as like the manager for someone, and I was like, oh yeah, she does sound pretty awesome.
Yeah, Andrade. Yeah, she is good. I mean, I think honestly, I haven't really heard her speak other than her role as AJ Lee in the Paige biopic, whatever it's called. I forgot. No, I can't remember. Wrestling with My Family. That's the only time I've heard like Zelina Vega actually speak. I think because I don't know.
That's unfortunate.
Even though I think we've been there live and she's spoken, and I had a big announcement to make about how Zelina Vega is moving up to becoming my number one wife, WWE wife, and knocking Alexa Bliss off that top rung. However, she was released from the WWE. I think they're in cahoots with Alexa Bliss. Therefore, Alexa Bliss remains at the top of my WWE number one wife list, and therefore there's no big announcement, I guess. But I love Zelina Vega, and she's awesome. And I feel bad that they didn't really get to showcase her as a wrestler and have her own time, and the work those mic skills that Delicia's been talking about.
Yeah, I guess it also helps because I've seen her in NXT and in TNA, so I kind of got the whole.
I had no idea she's in TNA. We gotta say welcome to, I think, did I say Skye yet? But Skye, Gary, Waller Life, welcome up. And then Will's picked Paul Heyman for his mic skills.
Mic skills.
I mean, that's one of the
awesome.
The top tier, top notch of people who can get it done on the mic. But Nikki, who was your pick to get it done on the mic?
So my pick for mic skills is the one and only CM Punk. And yeah, I know that Cal and I actually chatted about this before the show started, about how I really wanted to put Punk on my list, and I thought that he would be the best skill set on the mic for the character that I'm creating. because essentially the character that I'm creating is somebody who is intimidating, but also wins over the crowd with their charisma. And that's a big, I mean, one of the things that's great about CM Punk is it didn't matter if Punk was a heel or if he was a face. The crowd was always on his side. And that's the kind of character I wanted to create, if you will. Like, and come on, I mean, his mic skills are legendary. I will say that I did have a runner-up, and I was super close to putting Chris Jericho as my mic skill champ. And that's because, I mean, Chris Jericho is the GOAT, you guys, but I really wanted to put Punk on this list. I felt like he fit the criteria a little bit better for the type of wrestler that I'm doing as an overall wrestler.
Nice. I think, again, Mr. Pipe Bomb himself, he's really is one that's more like the in-your-face type of on the mic person, to where it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're Vince McMahon himself or you're Michael Cole, he will definitely let you know what he's feeling in that moment. And that's kind of who we've come to associate him with. So I guess, like, as you were saying, the type of ideas that you're putting forth on from paper to visual here, I guess he definitely would fit that mold, especially when it comes to the intimidation factor.
Yeah,
Right.
and obviously I love CM Punk. It was hard not to pick him here. As you guys know, I am the voice of the voiceless on the show. After CM Punk, I love him so much. But yeah, he's great on the mic, and he'll say what he wants, whatever he wants, kind of thing. Like the pipe, infamous pipe bomb and stuff. Even though some of that was scripted, majority of the scripted, I'm sure. But I feel like I didn't want to go with that because everyone probably thinks I picked that. Or somebody else. They think I'd pick. Skye picked The Miz, which I also love. But are we
For sure.
Are we going to my pick now? Because it's probably the biggest shock of the night. Okay,
Yeah.
the biggest surprise of the night. I would never think I'd pick this person, but I picked John Cena, only because I tried to keep limited to one person per every criteria. I probably easily would have picked The Rock here because Rock is my favorite. Probably the best mic skills that I know, but I might have chosen further down the line. John Cena is not too shabby either. John Cena is one. I used to love John Cena when he first came out, the Dr. Thugonomics. He was always great on the mic. He still is. He has a way of catching the crowd. Whether you love or hate him, he'll draw you in no matter what. Even when we were there live, Delisha, if you remember when we were there, was it Raw or SmackDown, whichever one we were at. And like he sang the Phillies, the Eagles song after that, even though they booed him the entire night, and they sang along with him because he has the way of. That's how you know it's 2020 because I picked John Cena. That's what you guys talk about in the chat. But yeah, see, like he has a way of captivating the audience, right? Because they booed him all night that night, Delisha, right? Like no matter what he did, they booed him the entire time. And he said after the match, I admit, like I got hurt. Like you guys hurt me. Like that really hurt. That was really hated that much. So I'm gonna give this to you guys, and I'm gonna do something for you. And they're facing the Patriots that year in the Super Bowl, and he's from West Newbury, Massachusetts, he's a Patriots fan. So he sang the Eagles fight song. And they all just rallied behind him, and that's just the person he is. Like he could, even if you hate him, he'll find a way to make you love him, and even if you or love to hate him, kind of thing. And that's why I chose him. Yeah,
Totally shocked.
like everyone's like, why did I pick The Rock? Because I want to. He's coming later. Don't worry. Entertained said good pick. He would go with Owen Hart. Yeah, Owen Hart great on the mic. The whole Hart family. I guess mostly Brett and Owen have been amazing on the mic. Me being the old school guy here, I used to love watching their promos back in the day. Ric Flair as well was great on the mic back in the day. Macho Man, even though you don't know what the hell he's talking about, he was fun to watch. Even Hulk Hogan, he was fun to watch as well. Those guys have been great. I just feel like when it comes to audience interaction, I think nobody besides like The Rock can be on the same, and maybe CM Punk as well, can be on the same level as Cena. And that's why I chose John Cena, unfortunately.
Well, now that we have all covered from your pick.
And Gary says, Stone Cold Steve Austin would be his pick. Will is shocked. Yep, everyone's shocked.
Stone Cold's a good pick too. He's definitely one of those like in your face, also one-line zingers in there as well. But yeah, John Cena it's good. Gotta give it credit where it's due. It's a good pick. Even though the crowd loves to boo him, even though that's just because it's trending, not because people probably actually don't like him. Admit it to yourselves, guys. Admit it to yourselves. He's just great. He's
I just
really
love to boo him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. I just love to boo him. It has nothing really to do with John Cena. I just
Skye says unpopular.
his music comes on. Go ahead.
Skye says unpopular opinion. Roman is stepping up his mic game. He is. I think he's been working with Paul Heyman. That was Will's pick, and I think that's why he's been improving his mic game.
He's also not trying to read off of a script that was given to him, so that also helps.
And more.
But that goes with mic skills. Like, you being able to take that script and make it sound like it's not scripted. I mean, that has to do with your charisma as a character. Like, you should be able to do that. We should all know that you were basically trying to memorize a speech and be like, 7 years ago, our forefather. Like,
Yeah,
that
like,
is true. That is true too.
You have to make it your own. That's what like Nikki's saying, yeah, which is very true.
Right.
And I think another reason why he's improved is because it's more personal, the story angle right now, right? So he can just talk from the heart because it's stuff he can relate to. So that's why I feel like he's been better too.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, Nikki, like you said, of them flipping the literal script that's given to them and turning it into the great. I think John Cena is kind of almost like a poster boy for that as well, because even the out of whack weird things he would say, it would come off as comical, and you're just like, ha ha, I hate you, John Cena, but I'm gonna laugh anyway because I thought it was funny.
Right.
So is another good like reasoning of why he would be someone's pick for ideal mic skills person.
For sure.
All
right. And up next, after mic skills, we have to discuss passion for this business, because that is very important if you want to, one, make it into this business, and two, have a long-lasting career in this business. And one of the most tenured people on, at least on the WWE roster, that is Miss Natalya herself. And the reason why I picked her is because she doesn't always get the spotlight, so to speak, on the card. She's not always put in the main event, but she's still out there each and every time that she's asked to do whatever it is that she's asked of. And it's because she has the passion for this business to keep doing what she loves, which is wrestling. It's in her blood. It's in her DNA. So I don't think she could think of anything else that she would rather do than being a wrestler. And that's kind of ideally what you want from your idea. Someone who loves this business so much that no matter what's thrown at them, they're going to make the best of it, the situation that they can, and still put on 110% every time they're put out in front of the people to put on a good show. And I couldn't think of anyone as passionate as Natty.
Yeah. So my pick is also Natalya. Just, spoiler alert. So, yeah, and I picked her for the same reason. It was funny because when Delisha finally sent me her list, I was like, shit, I have one from Cal and one from Delisha, and I was really close to changing both of those, but there's a good reason why I picked those two people where I picked them. And one thing about Natalya, or, Natty, is that you can tell that she's passionate about it just from like her social media accounts and stuff, and she doesn't care that she's the weird cat lady. She's always just like, I think that on, and I mean, it does run in her blood. Obviously, she's part of Hart family, and it's not a surprise that, she wants to be a wrestler, but the fact that, she is on the older end, and she gets stepped on all the time, like, as far as story goes. And I mean, like, we see her get shit on a lot of the time, even though she's a Hart. She'll be used as a stepping stone to promote other people, like either their friendship with her or whatever. And that's, I totally get it. But the fact that she has such a great attitude through all of it is one of the reasons why I picked her. Is that, they're constantly using her as a way to promote other people, and she seems to still love the business enough to be okay with that. And I think that really says a lot about who she is and her passion for the business.
Yeah, like all the Hart family, if you're from that family or dungeon, training, you have that passion no matter what. It's like instilled in you. And I feel like she does show it, And I feel bad that she doesn't get as much recognition as she does. Like, you watch those Total Diva shows, she's always kind of put on the back burner and saying, like, can you train these people coming up? Can you train that? And she reluctantly does it. and I'm hoping she gets one good like send off, even though she did win the championship a year or two ago. I feel like she does get, hopefully deserves a one good send off and stuff like that, and where all the divas come out and maybe applaud for her for everything she's done for the company and stuff like that, because she has given back. And then hopefully she gets a role like Stephanie McMahon, kind of like in the front office, because I think she more than anybody in the women's division deserves it.
1000%.
All right, Cal, who did you pick as the person of ideal
Well,
passion?
I had to pick an awesome pick, and it had to be The Miz, because I feel like somebody who is... Miz reflects who we are, right? He's the fan that grew up watching the business, carrying around a belt, pretending to do the moves, and all that kind of stuff. He loves the business. He dies for the business. His, you know... Oh my god, what happened? Did someone just donate? Oh man. Yeah, I think I feel like he lives and dies for the business. He's just so big into it that I feel like he has everything like matters to him in this sense, where like he announced his what is it, pregnancy with Maurice the first time and second time on the show, stuff like that. Like, it's been so meaningful to him. And like I said, like, he was on the Real World carrying around the WWE belt, saying that he wants to be a WWE superstar, going through Tough Enough, all this kind of stuff he wanted to do. Welcome Halo as well. Skye picked Randy Orton. I saw in the chat. It's just so meaningful. And then we saw it come to fruition in that Smack Talk where Daniel Bryan called him soft. And he's like, I'm not soft, you're soft. And like you could see him like crying and tearing up because of how much it means to him. The business means to him. He's like, go, if they mention to you so much, go wrestle in the indies. I'm here night in, night out, every night, you know, house shows, just SmackDown, Raw, everything. It just meant the world to him, and I feel like nobody since The Undertaker in the male division had that much passion for the business. And like I said, I mentioned on the Survivor Series show, he has the ability to have the longevity as The Undertaker does. Because he won't have the same iconic factor, because he's not the character of The Miz will never live up to the character of The Undertaker, being a WWE character. But the passion-wise, I think he can become, you know, equate to that sense of passion that The Undertaker had, because it is just so much, like, his whole life revolves around this, you know, and it means the world to him. I think Halo donated. Thank you, Halo, for the donation. And I think Entertainment picked the New Day. Did they pick the New Day?
Mm-hmm.
For passion, yeah. Will pick Miz as well. What do you guys think?
Yeah, you know,
No,
go ahead. You go ahead. I was gonna say that, you know, I very much love the Miz. I'm a huge Miz fan, and that's probably because my spouse also really loves the Miz. But, you know, he does have that incredible passion, and I wanted to... This was actually a fairly hard category for me, because several of the people that I really, truly love deep down have such a great passion for it. You know, I mean, The Rock could go here. The Miz can go here. Natalia can go here. Like, there's a bunch of people who could easily fit into the category of having, you know, passion for wrestling. But yeah, I mean, the thing is like, The Miz doesn't usually get just shit on all the time by the WWE. Like, at least they understand that he's a fan favorite, you know, and so I picked Natalia instead of The Miz, because, like, it was really up in the air between the two for me, and I was like, I don't want to have two that match Cal, because then I'm just a copycat.
You're a copy Cal.
Copy Cal.
Yeah, I think
Will also said that he picks The Miz.
Yeah, Miz is getting a lot of good votes in the chat. It's because he's had so many opportunities where he could have just quit and said, I don't want to do this anymore. Especially when he was getting so much disrespect from the fans and from the people in the backstage. So for him to just stick it out and become one of their most reliable superstars on the roster, it really shows the love that he had of being a wrestler. And especially when you see that true love for the business when at WrestleMania, when he wins the title and it's his dad's in the crowd, it's like this was like his dream as like a young kid. It's not, you know, not to just be in the entertainment sphere to win a title, but like to be in this business, immersed in this business, and just doing everything that he can to make this business the worldwide phenomenon that it is.
Are you laughing at what's in chat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
We lost you again, Nicole.
Oh no.
What?
We lost your video again.
Gosh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
It's probably my internet. I apologize.
Oh,
Everyone in the house is home right now.
Right.
All right, so.
Oh, tell them to turn on AfterTalk.
I'll get back in a moment. I apologize to everyone that you can't see my awesome pink hair.
Well, while she's getting her video set up again, we will go on to our next criterion for the ideal wrestler, and that was going to be, in conjunction with passion, their work ethic. Meaning, you know, how are they in the ring, in this business, behind the scenes, and being just a stronghold for the sports entertainment world that they work in. And there was maybe 3 people I could think of that we like could really see it henceforth, like translated to the screen, whether it be in interviews or social media or just present in the actual stories itself. And I had to go with Roman Reigns. And like we mentioned before, he could be a dichotomy of a person to want to boo or cheer, but that just means he's doing his job. But also, even throughout all the booing and the backlash and the people just saying really mean things to him on the internet, he still puts forth, you know, his best effort to be the superstar that he needs to be, whether in the ring or on the mic, as even though we all have our opinions on how he is on the mic, and also being a leader backstage. There's a reason that he is chosen to be the face of the WWE post other wrestlers in this era, which I don't know what we're calling now, but well, this year notwithstanding, he is the face of the company for a reason, and that's because they trust him to carry that workload on his back. It's what's driving his character right now as the head of the table. That's not just meaning literally head of the table of his family, but literally the head of the table of the WWE. Like, this is the face that you see, and you can't be that person without having a good work ethic to carry that load, and that was why he was my pick.
Yeah, for him, you can't forget that he's also putting his own health on the line during these times, right? Having just beat, was it leukemia, and coming back with an immune-compromised system during COVID times, and having people in the developmental and all that getting COVID. I wouldn't want to come back. You know, like, the fact that he's doing that for the business, it says a lot about work ethic. So, you know, like you said, love him or hate him, you have to admire or respect his work ethic here. And I do agree with you for that, in that case, putting his own health on the line for that.
Yes. Okay.
It's alright, you can just
Sorry,
talk.
Discord was telling me that my mic wasn't connected, so...
Oh, we can hear you, yeah. We can't see you, but it's okay, you can just talk.
I apologize to everybody watching. I have no idea why my video doesn't... I even bounced out of the call and came back thinking maybe that might help. But, you know, for all of my hate of Roman Reigns, because it's no secret that I don't really care for him, and I think that's just because I don't like having people shoved down my throat, like, you will like this character. And it's like, no, I won't. Thank you, though. I have to admit that, you know, him overcoming cancer and the way that he's progressed, like, he came back with a whole different attitude. Like, instead of, you know, like, because things were definitely handed to him. And I feel like when he got cancer and he left and he came back, like, I just feel like he's different now. And I think that it's been better for him. I certainly think that, you know, his work ethic has improved tremendously, at least in the last 2 years. I will give him that, which is, you know, it's hard for me to say.
They're gonna tell the truth and you're gonna like it.
Alright.
So, anyways, yeah, I think that that's a good pick, to be honest.
I think you.
For my work ethic, I know, right? For my work ethic, I picked Becky Lynch. And that's because no Tricky Nikki list on this show is complete without something to do with Becky Lynch. And I picked her because, you know, she worked for many, many years to get to be two-belt Becky, to be the man. And I really think that, you know, she's talented, but I think that the reason why she was successful was because she was so hardworking. And I think that, you know, fans could see that. And, you know, I mean, I follow her on Instagram and I follow her on Twitter, and like her social media accounts really said that, you know, like proved to me that she, you know, was working outside of the ring to, you know, be in character, and, you know, somebody who loves puns. And I mean, even when she turned heel, like the whole crowd was on her side. And it's like, how do you have a face that turns heel and everybody still loves the shit out of you? Like, you know why? It's because of her work ethic. It's because every fan knew that she deserved it, that she deserved to be a title holder. And that's just saying a lot, because you know, I mean, like, that says a lot about her work ethic and the fans seeing that she's, you know, that the WWE is not giving her the place that fans think that she should have. So that's why I picked her.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think you hit the nail on the head with that, saying that the fans saw her, the universe saw her working so hard. That's why she got to that point where she was. And it was kind of like poetic, the moment when Nia Jackson was, right? I think they broke her nose. And gushing about it, she's like, it was like our blood, sweat, and tears for that company. And that showed right there. And that's when she catapulted up, and, you know, finally,
she didn't even have character.
Yeah,
she got more into character with her broken nose, and I was just like, what?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so that it just shows a testament to like her work ethic, that she's embraces that and worked so hard for such a long time to get to where she was.
Yeah, they don't call her the man for. I mean, they call her the man for a reason, and like I said, again, just reinforcing that the fans like could see how hard she worked. I mean, she was the, I know it's all storyline still, but she was the last of the NXT's 4 Horsewomen to get called up to, oh no, that was Bayley, sorry. She was almost kind of like Bayley, kind of almost the afterthought of many of the writers and maybe people backstage who didn't fully believe in her ability to captivate the crowd. But it's like once they took off the handcuffs and just let her go, after like her fighting to be the number one, the face of the women's division, and then after that of the whole of the company, to encapsulate her, that encapsulated what she was all about. And like we said, the fans saw that, and that's what they got behind. And while even within her absence is felt, because we don't have that person who is kind of for the people of who, you know, work hard and trying to be the best in their respective roles of whatever they are, whether it be job, home, whatever. And so it was really good to see her have those moments in the last couple of years to really get rewarded for that. And as people have chanted when she got the belt, she deserved it.
And I guess we'll see how strong her work ethic is now that she just had a baby with Seth Rollins. Will she be back for Royal Rumble with a fit body and everything like that to win the Royal Rumble? I guess we'll see.
I would be so stoked. That'd be so dope.
That she automatically wins the work ethic award there.
Right. Sure. Oh, and Entertain 45 says his work ethic would be none other than the Hall of Famer himself, Mick Foley.
And I think Will said for him it would be John Cena, which is not a bad pick as well. People who give so much to the business, you know. Now my pick, you guys have been waiting for it all night, I guess, but it might not give that much to the business. He gave a lot to the business, but when it comes to work, you can't spell work without R-O silent C-K. The Rock, because The Rock is probably the hardest working man or person in the world. The Rock doesn't wake up to the sunrise wakes up to The Rock. He's up at like 3 a.m. doing like a 4-hour workout. Then he goes and like does like I guess production for his own company. Then goes and shoots like a full trilogy of a movie, and then and then he goes and like works out again for like 10 hours. Then he eats breakfast. And then, like, so that by that time, it's only, like, 8 a.m.
He's got dad duty.
Yeah, dad duty, so he's making adorable Instagram videos with his daughter, trying to prove that he's Maui, but she doesn't believe it still to this day.
Right?
It's just crazy. And then, just to be an iconic figure as well, just for when he speaks on social media after what happened, with Black Lives Matter and all that kind of stuff, he was there just speaking, like, it matters so much, like, everyone hangs on his words, even if he's not in the wrestling ring, right? So no matter what, I don't know when he sleeps, like, I think he just wears a bed on his back and just falls over, and, like, power naps, and then gets back up and starts working again, and that bed has 400 pounds of weight strapped to it just so he can work out while he's walking, too. So he's just non-stop work. I just want to see, like, what his schedule's like. I want to spend one day with The Rock, and not do any of the stuff he does. Like, I'll wake up when he wakes up, because that's when I wake up anyway. But, like, I'm not going to work out with him. I'm just going to watch it and see, like, oh my god, that's a lot of working out. And then just watching throughout the day, because, like, no one works hard. I can't think of anybody who works harder than him. Like, it's ridiculous how hard he works. It's ridiculous. I can't. He works out for 8 hours from 3 a.m. till...
You're totally right.
That's exactly... Quote that, Entertain. So, like, yeah...
Yeah, I was gonna say probably just looking at his schedule is exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a reason why he is considered the most electrifying man. Not in entertainment, but I feel like in the world, I feel like there is no place that man can go that he will not be recognized, and it's because he's put in the hard work to be the person that he is. I again, like you said, I don't know if this man is. I'm starting to think he's a cyborg. I feel like we need to check him for computer chips and stuff like that, because I feel like this is the only way that this person can be possible. And this is why I don't think there's only going to be one of him in our on this earth. But yeah, when you think of work ethic, whether you're thinking about wrestling or just work ethic in general, you're thinking about The Rock, and I don't know how he does it.
And every day you're hearing about a new project he's picking up. Like the new Rock shows coming out about him as growing up, his biography, right? Or whatever you want to call it. Like the television show he's having. And then like his tequila line. Like nonstop, there's something new every day. And today we're talking about in chat with Skye about like...
I'm about to say it's
headphones.
It's 8:07 right now. He's probably got 5 new projects in the last 30 minutes.
Yeah. Like... Yeah, it's gonna be like Fast and Furious 9, Fast and Furious 10. Then he's got the Hobbs and Shaw spin-off. Like, it's just non-stop. Shazam. Well, he's gonna be Black Adam, but I'm sure that's gonna go into the Shazam world as well. Like, it's just I don't know. Like, it's just he never stops. And then the Titan games like that he does on NBC.
Yeah. The Titan games is super fun to watch. If you guys haven't watched it, you should watch it.
I think I solved it, guys. He has the time turner that Hermione used in The Prisoner of Azkaban. That's the only way. That's the only way.
No, they smashed all the time turners in book 5. Duh.
He got one.
The Rock can make it. The Rock can definitely get one. What did they smash it on? A rock. The Rock, when they threw it on him, he just caught it. He's like, "This is mine now."
It's mine. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite quotes that The Rock says is, in my garage, be the hardest working person in the room. And it's like, yeah, like that's just words of wisdom right there. And you should be. The Rock is who we all aspire to be. That's
why I sit in a room by myself. Except for these two people behind me that are fake working.
Right.
That man. So those were all like the little minute, like big boy criteria that we were kind of going for in creating our ideal wrestler. So just like kind of like little recap. We wanted someone who again was our O-R O-U-R, I can spell, us, Cal, Nikki, Felicia, of what our ideal wrestlers were going to be like. And I think that this... Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze, and it didn't come, and I hate that. But we kind of have like a little like final card amalgam mixed match that Nikki so are dutifully made for us, which is the most hilarious thing in the world.
It's awesome.
It is. I could not have done this if you even tried to pay me. It would not look as good as this. So let's go into some of the more funner aspects of what it is that we want to see in ideal wrestlers. Kind of the ones that we can really see on the screen, and one of those is like their character types, and for going for like a heel or face persona, because that too we kind of cheer for, we wear for our faces, and traditionally boo our heels unless they're Becky Lynch, then we cheer them anyway. So if my ideal wrestler was going to be a heel, I kind of wanted them to be like a Zelina Alexa like hybrid of some two, because I really love their mic work when they're heels. They are one of their more recent like top tiers heel work in the ring, trying to get the crowd to boo them for whatever reason. But also they can also be really nefarious on the wrestling tip as well, to being doing all the, they can do like the chicken shit heel stuff, they can do the brutal heel stuff. So whatever heels things you like to boo, they can do it all. And I was going, even if they were going to be like the face type, I kind of wanted more of the like Keith Lee type, to where they have that charisma still on the mic, but also can get down to business if need be, which is also going into why I picked like the Ember Moons and Bianca Belair athletic and body types, so that they can still do those movesets, whether they're face or a heel. And as far as like entrance music going, I was trying to think of like a theme that could work for both of those players, whether it be heel or face, and that's why I kind of picked like the Pete Dunne kind of, I guess that would be like mid-tempo like rock music. I'm not a music person or to know all the like terminology, but something like that, to where you're gonna cheer it when you hear it, or you're gonna be like, oh, this freaking person, and you're gonna boo right away. So that's what I was kind of going for as well, and also kind of going with that for their style of wrestling was like the strong style, which is actually pretty funny because I didn't even know that terminology like a couple of years ago. I only knew like your WWE graphic style, like grappler, submission person, high flyer, and then I got introduced to like strong style, which is more kind of is like the grappling Bruiser, like on the mat type of person, but you feel it and you hear it at the same time, even if you're not the person being hit. And again, going back into my like reason why I was going for that Ember Moon Bianca Belair type, with fitting into that wrestling style. And so that was kind of be like my whole bring it all together wrestling set for my ideal wrestler.
Yay. My turn?
Yep.
Okay, hold on. I have to reorganize everything. Hairstyle goes last. My bad. Okay, so for my final criteria card, I decided to also kind of do what Delisha did, as far as being like, here's what the heel persona would be, here's what the face persona would be. But if you really look at my face and my heel persona, they're pretty similar. So like my face persona would be CM Punk, and my heel persona would be Becky Lynch, because the type of character that I was going for is somebody who's intimidating, but is kind of like an enforcer of sorts. So they really ride that line between being a heel or being a face, and it's kind of like, depending on maybe the match or what's going on in the storyline, they could be either or, so they switch back and forth type of thing. Point is they're always against the man, because like that's like my jam. I love wrestlers who are just always sticking it to, Vince McMahon and all of that stuff. So like really that's why I say that they would be an enforcer of sorts. So they would be like, oh, let's even the odds, or this person's cheating, or like, whatever. Like I think that that's really where they would, shine, my wrestler. And then for entrance music, I wanted something that kind of starts off slow and then builds and maybe is a little bit ominous. So something that's either rock, kind of like the Shield, or something that's, maybe like some heavy rap, like AJ Styles' intro, where it's like, it starts off like all mellow and then all of a sudden it's like boom. And like, I think that would really fit because if you were an enforcer, then, you know, it's starting off slow. People know as soon as that entrance music hits that they're like, uh-oh, and then the crowd gets like super riled up when you actually like come flying out of the gates at the like crescendo of your intro. So yeah, it was like rock or rap, but in the style of The Shield or AJ Styles' intro. I would prefer words because I am a huge WWE wrestling fan for words. I love learning the lyrics. So, I mean, my ringtone has quite literally been glorious since, I don't know, since the Royal Rumble took place here in like 2017. Like, because I love it so much. And then the style that I picked was a striker with a bit of powerhouse. So they would be. I picked these from the game, by the way, because I wasn't entirely sure what the names of the different types of styles were. And so I was like, in the game, you can pick like different types of so like a striker would be like Dean Ambrose or you know, somebody who's kind of like a brawler, but they have a bit of powerhouse, which is why I did like, you know, Shayna Baszler is my body build, because they have that muscular strength that makes you kind of like, you know, like Dean Ambrose from The Shield or Dean Ambrose right before he left the WWE. Like that type of mentality where you're a striker, but like you've got this muscle to like really back it up. And yeah, that would be my criteria card, finishing up my awesome wrestler that's just against the regime.
Nice.
For me, I chose a heel. Pretty much just a flat heel because I love heels. But if I had to choose for both, my heel persona would be someone like Chris Jericho's Lionheart when he was in WCW, when he was in the Cruiserweight days. I loved him there. That's when I first fell for Chris Jericho, his Lionheart persona. So when he became a heel, that is. So I'd probably choose him. Just that cockiness, the arrogance that he had, and he backed it up with his in-ring ability. That would be his heel persona. If it came to a face persona, it'd probably be like Stone Cold, like against a man, like Nicole was saying earlier. But yeah, just that. Like I love him doing like the what thing in the audience, like you know, like getting behind it. So that would be kind of awesome to see as a face for him. For an entrance, I would kind of like rock or heavy metal music. I'm not really into that music that much, but I love Batista's entrance. So I thought something like that with the lyrics kind of comes in and it has like that high pitched one note, and then it goes back into like the you know, the ballad part of it. I'd probably love the power ballad, I should say, of that. I'd love to see that for my wrestler, and to have something like cool, like when Batista goes like the fireworks come, that'd be awesome to see as well. And style in this case would be kind of like the Undertaker or CM Punk in the brawler sense, where they do a lot of strikes, but they also have some submission game as well, like with the Hell's Gate for Undertaker and the Anaconda Vice for CM Punk. So not only do they have striking ability, they can also take you down to the mat and do some moves there. That's why I chose a brawler, because I liked seeing that. And like Nicole, I took it from the video game as well, and that's what CM Punk was. So
Yeah, Delisha, get the video game already. Gosh.
Guys, I'm poor.
Should have put it on your wedding registry.
I should have.
There you go.
You weren't thinking.
Xbox
You weren't thinking.
Series X. Nah, get a PS5.
There are none left on this planet, apparently.
I got two. Not anymore, but I had to.
Damn you.
Of course you did, God. Of course you did.
But I didn't sell for profit, anybody, alright? I sold it to...
You didn't charge $2,000?
No. I sold it to Randall at cost, because Randall's my friend. So.
Yeah. Oh. Put it on Randall. I'm going to go down there and visit him just so I can play his PS.
Whereas I'm so much closer than Randall, driving-wise.
Well, never mind.
You've never seen Randall, so you can go visit Randall's. I mean, Randall's place, I mean. You've seen Randall.
Yeah, I also have learned that we all like, if we're doing faces, we like faces with attitude. So FWA, I guess. I don't know. Well, so that was kind of like our ideal, what we look for in our ideal wrestlers. Again, like I said, these were our thoughts. You may have something different, so why don't you let us know in the comments? I'll leave it down below. Let us know what your ideal wrestler, what attributes they would have. Like, would they be better as a heel or a face? What attributes are they going to come out of? And what type of wrestler would they have? I guess we also, like, we also all three of us like strikers or people who can really f you up in a ring. What is wrong with us? I don't know.
We all like the same type of wrestling.
I guess this is true. Entertained said he always chooses heel when he can go, if he had the choice, but don't go full heel. Never go full heel.
Hills just have more fun.
Yep.
It's just true.
They do.
But don't leave yet, because we have one more surprise to close out 2020. We are going to talk about each of our moments of the year for WWE.
Because we need to end the show on a positive note, because 2020, the year of the pivot, as I'm calling it, is full of ups and downs, a lot of downs, lots and lots of downs. But so we don't want to leave you guys with anything negative. We're going to leave you with a positive to close out AfterTalk for the year 2020. And like Nick said, we have chosen a moment from wrestling this year that we really liked. And it's funny because even though I said we're going to end on a positive, I chose a quote unquote negative moment, which is Roman Reigns' heel turn. I think that this is one of the biggest moments of the year in wrestling, because all people thought it would never happen. A lot kind of like John Cena-esque, to where even though he kind of started out as a heel and then turned face, and then they were like, we're never looking back. Roman kind of had almost a similar trajectory where he kind of came out as a heel with the Shield, and then he got skyrocketed to the top as a single star, as being the face of the company. And as Nikki has said, because he was like forced on our television screen to be accepted as the guy, or the big dog, as Michael Cole would always yell out that I hated, people just turned on him almost for no reason but that, because they didn't want to be told who to cheer for. And a lot of the talk was like, oh, they're never going to turn him heel. He's going to be, John Cena 2.0. He's going to be, kissing all the babies and shaking hands and all that. Until, I believe, SummerSlam 2020, to where he made his triumphant return to the ring. So, well, not in the ring yet, but to where he attacked The Fiend and Braun Strowman, to much of the chagrin of the fans. Didn't really know why that was until later on in the weeks he paired himself up with Paul Heyman, the voice of, not the voiceless, but just the voice of the wrestling business, honestly, to take on this heel persona as the head of the table. He is our tribal chief. We must bow down to him at all turns and accept him as our savior to the wrestling business. At least that's what I get from it. But I chose the moment because it was something that we thought that would not happen, or at least maybe not in our lifetime. I don't know. But I really thought it was a cool moment, and they've been doing a really good job with it. And I'm excited to see what happens as we come into 2021, of what's going to happen to this Roman Reigns reign.
Well, he did come in as a heel,
Roman's
but
reign.
He did come in as a heel, right, into WWE. But
Yeah,
I guess as a solo wrestler, right? As a solo wrestler, right? So he'd be like the new Cena. Because Cena was a heel as well, right? When they both first started, so
but no, I was saying once they got into the full title singles, where they got pushed to the face of the company,
their paths are very mirror. Right.
Yeah.
Nicole?
Yep. So my moment of the year is probably not a surprise to anybody, but it was when Becky gave her title up to go be a mom. I haven't really watched a whole lot of wrestling, WWE wrestling. I've been watching AEW. And, this moment, like, I only saw a clip of it and it made me, like, tear up. And it's because, like, you could totally tell that, Becky wasn't ready to leave, but at the same time, like, she's excited to be a mom. And I don't know, it was just really awesome to, watch the title exchange and the way that it went down, and, being like, you go be a warrior, I'm going to go be a mom. And like, that was just not what I was expecting. And I got like super emotional about it. And so that was my, moment of the year. And that's saying a lot because, like I said, I mean, I've been watching AEW and there's been some like really cool shit on there too. But this just took the cake for me. And that's probably because Becky's my girl. And, I just thought that was, you know, they were both so excited, you know.
Yeah.
And it was just fantastic. I just thought that was a really beautiful moment. It was a really great way to hand over the title. And I like that they didn't have her get defeated, you know, like that they were like, she's making the choice to step down because, you know, she's pregnant. And yeah, I really liked the way they went about it.
Yeah, I think Asuka's reaction also made it more genuine. So that's why I liked it better as well.
Her bouncing around the ring, yelling, you know, "I'm the champion! I'm the champion!" and then, you know, when Becky's like, "You go be a warrior. I'm gonna go be a mom," and then Asuka's like, oh, "What?
Yeah.
Really?" And it was just so great. And then they were both like hugging each other, and then, you know, Asuka started chanting about, you know, Becky Lynch, and I was like, this is so wholesome. It was so wholesome.
Yeah, it was definitely a really good highlight for the year that was. And it also, because we don't really get to see that side of, you know, the women. A lot of times they don't get pregnant because they want to keep working, because of course you're out of commission for a while. Or if they do, they just kind of like get injured and then just fall to the wayside until they come back. So the fact that, one, that it was announced on air, and two, that it was someone who was like very much in the face of the people, not someone who was like slowly written out of television, or who was like maybe retired like Maurice, because even though they had an announcement as well, but she wasn't an active wrestler, so we didn't really feel it as much. So I really think that it was a really good moment as for her personally, and then also optics wise of showing that you can still do what you want and still be on top of the wrestling game.
All right.
Yeah, Skye's agreeing that, you know, because Asuka genuinely had like no idea, that it just made it all the more awesome. And yeah, it did. Like the whole clip is just fantastic. Like it makes my heart warm. Like it makes me sad because, you know, Becky was leaving, but at the same time, like it was so wholesome, and I just loved it.
And congrats, because they had their baby a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Is it Rue?
Yep.
Her name is. So
I don't
congrats to it's just, what's his name? Is his actual name Tyler Black? Well, Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch.
Right.
Get as much sleep as you can while the baby's sleeping. But yeah, Cal.
All right.
What was
So-
your moment of the year?
I wonder if the chat thinks they know my pick. You think you know me? Yeah, it's Edge. Edge is returned at Royal Rumble. I'm a huge Edge head. I loved Edge. You know, there's always, even when you hear rumors and little rumblings of people coming back. Rumblings, you see what I did there? Of people coming back. It's still kind of not like set in stone, right? So when he came back, I popped. And you know what happened? The audience popped, because that's one of the last times we ever had an audience. That's why I feel like it's a moment of the year, because that was the last big of the big four to have an audience, and we checked it right before we went live, is that Elimination Chamber is the next pay-per-view after that that had an audience, and that was the final one that had the audience. But this was the last of the big four. And Royal Rumble, you know, that's when the timer goes down, all the audience is counting down, and then you hear, "You think you know me?" And everyone knows what that is, you know, and they go, "Doo, doo, 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 doo," and he comes out, and seeing him, unfortunately, the bad camera angle when he speared Dolph Ziggler, even Dolph Ziggler tweeted about it and stuff, but that moment, I can't be topped for me, because I love Edge, and seeing him come back, and what it means now, with actually having an audience there, and having a genuine pop, maybe probably the biggest pop of the year now, because there wasn't an audience all year, right? So that has to be the biggest pop of the year, I would think. Yeah, and Edge says Edge would be a solid choice for passion and work ethic. Yeah, when Edge retired, that's probably the one time I've ever teared up for a wrestler. When he retired, because I mean he was like, I loved Edge since he debuted until he retired for the first time. So yeah, like I said, the moment. The reason why I chose that is because, like I said, this is the last time we actually had a genuine audience, like for the big four, and that's probably the biggest pop we've had all year. So that's why I probably chose it.
Yeah, this had to be hands down one of, if not the top, then one of like the top moments, probably in almost the last 10 years, honestly, of the wrestling world. Like, I legitimately watched that video anytime I'm feeling sad. Like that and the hardest return to WrestleMania, I know, is I watch those when I'm feeling down because you literally feel the emotion from the crowd when you hear that music drop. And it's just an instant, no way this is effing happening look on people's faces when you hear that theme. And I think you even see it in some of the clips. People are like, no way. And it's also because we know what he's been through, like that, supposedly career-ending neck injury is almost similar to one with Daniel Bryan. That, you can't do what you loved for all your life anymore. And it's great that, with the great medical treatment that we have now, that people can now kind of go out on their terms and not have to retire. Well, not everyone, obviously, but you have that chance to still do what you love in this business. And you saw that in his face when he came back, and it's like, oh my gosh, you guys still love me. And you also, about that stupid camera, you would have thought we would have learned our lesson, cameraman, when AJ Styles came back to the Royal Rumble, and you didn't get that reaction either. But I digress. But yeah, this is definitely one of the biggest moments in wrestling ever.
Entertain said this year's Undertaker retirement was in the top 5 Undertaker retirements for sure.
Oh, I didn't read the last part. I saw. I thought you said top 5 moments. Oh, top 5. Nope. Yeah. I get that. That makes it funny.
That's so great.
Maybe the next retirement will be better.
Nicole, any thoughts on the last moment of the year for Edge or?
No, I mean, like the hype around that moment was really great. Like the way the crowd, had excitement and it was obvious that there were some people who were emotional in the crowd, and I assume that that's because they watched Edge. I missed out, I think, on Edge. I don't really remember him, so it wasn't exciting for me. But you could tell by fans' reactions that it was exciting for them, and that's always great. To see fans get excited, to see people return, and when you see that, he was so excited that they were excited, and it's like, yeah, that's one of the greatest things about wrestling. And I do think that we are missing that now that we don't have an audience, like how different certain moments would have been, if we did have an audience. And that is, wrestling is really audience oriented. Especially when you're there. Like, if you've never been to a wrestling match, you don't realize how much the matches really do depend on having that hype. And you could tell when people aren't hyped about the match, and the match suffers. So yeah, I definitely think that it's a great moment.
Yeah, I think that's a really good takeaway from this year, is that recognizing how important the audiences, they are that, if it's a one-on-one match, they are that third team member of the whole wrestling sphere. Like they like you said, they really do make or break a match. If you go back to Hogan versus The Rock, they switched that match on its head because of the audience reaction to what they were doing in the ring. And I guess that's another big positive takeaway we can take away from 2020, is that the audience matters. They really are the driving force of the business, not just in revenue because they're showing up, it's because they're an active participant in the arena. And I implore you, once we can go back out, if you have a chance to go watch a wrestling event, whether it be a WWE event or one of your smaller local organizations where you're just in a school gym, it's still an electrifying atmosphere to be in, that I personally didn't know that I was missing out on until we went to TakeOver a couple of years ago. And even like going back and watching some like of the older matches, and just even matches from earlier this year that had audience, it really is a big difference. And hopefully, I still have hope that we may have to face a new normal in 2021 and beyond. But don't worry, guys, we will be able to see our friends again. We will be able to interact with someone sitting across the room, not just on a computer screen. We will get to go to Texas and visit Nikki one day.
Yay! I need to come visit you guys. There's nothing fun to do in Texas.
I will get to go to Cal's house.
Unless WrestleMania comes back, then you guys have a free place to stay. So
So I just implore you guys to. I know things are rough. I don't know everyone's situation, but if you can, just to stick it out and think of the positives. However small it can be. It can be just you waking up that today or tomorrow or whatever. That's really what we want from our audience, from you, for the rest of the time being, is to stay positive. That's why we're all here together, is that we have this common love for wrestling, and we may dog on it from pay-per-view to pay-per-view, but we still love it. We still find ways to keep coming back like crack addicts, to get our next wrestling fix.
You never quit wrestling. I've tried to quit WWE so many times and it doesn't happen. Like, I might be on a hiatus right now, but I will come back eventually. It's just inevitable.
As soon as Becky comes back.
As soon as Becky comes back, Nicole's gonna be a fan again.
She's gonna hear the theme song, and the theme song's gonna play in her house, and she's like, "Oh my god, Becky's back!"
Nicole pops in. Hello. I suddenly like WWE again. I never didn't not like it. I just have fallen off the bandwagon for a bit. So, but I'll always come back. I always do. It's like trying to quit Magic the Gathering. No matter how hard I try, I just keep coming back to it.
I stopped a long time ago.
I'm trying to not be a fan of The Rock. It's just not gonna happen.
No.
Yeah, but why would you not want to be a fan of The Rock? Like, I have valid reasons for not wanting to be a fan of the WWE.
Well, I was trying to pick something that he could never turn away from. That's why.
I guess, yeah. No, mine's a toxic relationship. I just keep coming back to the husband. Things are gonna be different this time. Shit's all over me. Just kidding.
But we want to thank you guys for joining us tonight for the final After Talk episode of 2020 in the year that was. I feel like that's just going to be the name of 2020's biography, the year that was. And if I want to let you know, what are you guys' favorite moments of the year in wrestling? There was some. We know it. You have some. Let us know in the comments some of your favorite moments that happened this year in 2020. And we will join you back, guys, in 2021 with some really fun content coming up forth. Before we do that, Nikki, where can I find you?
Oh, right. So you can actually find me on Twitter, Instagram, and yeah, that's it. Gamer tag, whatever, at Rhapsody0607. I'm on YouTube. My YouTube channel is Rhapsody's Vlog. On there, I talk about hair stuff and life lessons, and sometimes I will play the occasional video game. Rhapsody0607 is also my Twitch channel, which occasionally I'll stream on there. But yeah, I mean, if you want to come hang out, and if you don't, I'm not offended.
Now, our voices
before I go, Entertainment is the moment of the year or thing of the year is the emergence of cinematic matches, and that's actually a good choice. Yeah, yeah. And don't forget, you can always find Alicia and Nicole's links right down below in the description, so make sure you check them out there and go subscribe to both their channels. As for me, you can find me here on the Kingslayer Network. I will be streaming Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays video games, unless we have an After Talk or an AfterMat. But seeing as this is the season finale of After Talk, and we only have one more AfterMat, you'll be seeing me Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, unless it's a holiday like Christmas or New Year's Eve or something like that. I don't know. But I'll be playing some Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I've only been playing it on stream, so I'm really far behind most people in that game. But yeah, that's what I'll be doing. And the next time you'll see us here on AfterMat will be next week for TLC, is it? Yeah, TLC. At 7 p.m. Eastern.
Oh my.
1 week from today.
Yes, and then you can find me at Twitter and Instagram at Delisha_Renee. And also I have my own YouTube channel, which is Delisha Renee TV. Again, like Kyle said, you can check the links down below and in the community tab, so that you can keep tabs on what I'm doing, which is more of a health and lifestyle channel of my shenanigans going on in life, as also trying to put forth out some healthy meals and educational content for you guys. And like you said, you can see me and Cal here next week recapping TLC, and I hope he does not hit me with a chair shot like he did last time, because that was painful. But I had stem cell recovery, and that's why you can't tell. But again, thank you for joining us, and I hope the rest of your year goes as great as it can be, and let's put forth a great effort to make 2021 an even better year than the year that was of 2020. Until next time, guys.
Later.
See ya.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun